Look at the top of your basement wall tonight, right where the concrete stops and the wood begins. In most American houses built before the late 1990s, that strip of bare wood runs the entire way around the building. It is the thinnest part of your whole house and nobody ever insulated it. Builders skipped it for decades, and the way houses breathe means the cold gets in right there. That is a big reason your heat bill looks the way it does. Stay with me because sealing it costs about $100 in materials. The government's own numbers say sealing leaks like this cuts heating and cooling costs by around 15%. And there is a fire rule about this fix that most of the videos showing it never mention. We will get to that too. Here is how we do things on this channel. We do not fake a project in a basement we do not own. We read the building science, we read the code. We went through the most watched video on this subject frame by frame, a contractor named Jeff insulating his own 1974 house. And we read a few thousand comments from people who did the work and lived with the result. If you're new here, this channel digs up the way houses used to work and the way they were built before everything needed a subscription. The subscribe button costs nothing. So what is this thing? When a house gets built, the concrete foundation goes in first. On top of the concrete sits a flat board called the sill plate. Standing on the sill plate, running around the whole outside edge, is a board on its side called the rim joist. And the floor joists that hold up your living room are nailed into it. Now, here is the part that matters. Every other wall in your house has insulation and drywall on the inside. Your basement wall is concrete and the earth outside it holds a steady temperature all year. But that rim joist, sitting right at ground level, is one piece of wood 1.5 inches thick, with the outside air on one side and your basement on the other. 1.5 inches of pine is roughly an R value of 2. The wall right above it, upstairs, has an R value of 13 or better. So the weakest spot in your entire house is a stripe of bare lumber 1 foot tall, running around all 4 sides, and it sits exactly where nobody looks. And it is not just thin, it leaks. This is where the building science gets interesting, and it is the part the fix videos rush past. A house is not solid, it is a stack of pieces. Concrete, then a strip of tar paper or a foam gasket, then the sill plate, then the rim board, then the subfloor above. Wood is never perfectly flat, concrete block is never perfectly level, and the pieces are just nailed together, butted end to end. The Building Science Corporation, which studies this for a living, calls the foundation to sill plate connection a particularly troublesome detail and a source of significant air leakage. Now add the way a house breathes. Warm air rises. In winter, your furnace heat climbs to the top floor, finds every crack around the attic hatch and light fixtures, and leaves. And every cubic foot that leaves has to be replaced by air pulled in at the bottom of the house. Your house is quietly a chimney, and the lowest, leakiest opening, the intake at the bottom of that chimney, is the gap under the sill plate and the joints in the rim board. So the coldest air outside is being pulled on purpose by physics through the least insulated wood in the building all night long. That is why the floor along the outside walls upstairs never gets warm. That is why the basement smells like outside in January. That is the draft you feel at your ankles in the kitchen and blame on the window. Now the question everyone asks in the comments: why would anyone build a house this way? And the honest answer is not that builders were lazy, it is that in 1974 nobody had a reason to care. Here is Jeff standing in his own 1974 basement, and he says it plainly. Back then, energy was basically free, and there was not even a building code that covered it. A good builder stuffed one piece of fiberglass into the rim cavity and moved on. Most did not bother because a basement was not living space. It was a furnace, a laundry sink, and a bare bulb. Insulation went in the walls of the rooms people sat in. Then the 1970s oil shocks hit, energy stopped being free, and the codes started catching up. Wall insulation went up, then attic insulation. And the rim joist was the last thing on the list because it is behind the furnace and under the stairs, and nobody paints it. Modern code finally treats it like a wall, which means every house built before that change, tens of millions of them, is standing today with the same bare stripe of wood Jeff found in his. If your house went up before roughly the late 1990s, and in a lot of places later than that, it is a safe bet yours is bare too. And the good news is you can check it in about a minute. Here is what to look for, and this is the part I want you to actually do. Go to the basement or the crawl space with a flashlight and look at the top of the outside wall where the wood meets the concrete. If you see bare wood in the pockets between the floor joists, that is it. If you see a slab of pink or yellow fiberglass shoved in there, that is the 1970s version, and it helps a little with the cold, but fiberglass does nothing to stop air, so the leak is still running behind it. One commenter under Jeff's video found out the hard way what that fiberglass had really been doing for 40 years. It made a perfect nest for mice. On a cold, windy day, hold the back of your hand near the joint, or hold a lit incense stick there and watch the smoke. If it bends, you have found your leak. Some folks with an infrared thermometer pointed at the rim board and then at the wall next to it. 20 degrees of difference in January is not unusual, and there is a sign you can read without going downstairs at all. Walk barefoot along an outside wall upstairs on a cold morning. If the first foot of floor next to the wall is noticeably colder than the middle of the room, that is the rim joist below you, bleeding heat out of the floor cavity before it ever reaches your toes. Jeff makes this point in his own basement, and it is the reason he wanted his fix to warm the whole cavity, not just plug the wall. So what is the fix, and what does it actually cost? There are two jobs here, and this is where most people get it half right. Job 1 is the AIR seal, stopping the wind. Job 2 is the insulation, stopping the cold from soaking through the wood. The 1970s fiberglass did a little of job 2 and none of job 1. Modern spray foam does both at once, and that is why the pros love it. But for a homeowner, the honest ladder goes like this. The $100 version is the air seal alone. A few cans of gap-filling foam, a tube of good caulk, and an afternoon working around the whole perimeter, sealing the joint where the sill meets the concrete, the seams where rim boards butt together, and every hole where a pipe or wire passes through. That alone attacks the biggest problem, the leak, and it is the cheapest energy fix in the whole house per dollar. The next rung is what Jeff shows. Rigid foam board, 2 inches thick, cut to fit each pocket, and the edges sealed with can foam. That gets you the air seal and about R10 of insulation. 3 or 4 sheets of board plus the foam runs $150 to $200 for a typical basement, more if it is a big house. And the top rung is a 2-part spray foam kit, or a contractor which seals and insulates in one pass, looks like frosting on a cake, and costs several $100s and up. Every rung works. The first one is where the value is if money is tight, and the second one is what most handy homeowners land on. Now, put a number on it, honestly. The EPA's Energy Star program estimates that sealing air leaks and adding insulation in attics, floors over crawl spaces, and accessible basement rim joists saves an average of 15% on heating and cooling costs. That is the whole package, not the rim joist alone. And I will not pretend anyone has a clean number for the rim joist by itself, because every house leaks differently. But the rim joist is one of the 3 named places on that list, and it is the one most people have never touched. If your heating bill runs $200 a month through the winter, 15% is $30 a month, and the $100 version of this fix pays for itself before spring. The comments under Jeff's video are full of people who found out what that number feels like. One homeowner in Calgary wrote that a room finished in the late 70s had only one of its 3 outside walls insulated at all, and it sat at 54 degrees in winter with the heat running. After the rim and walls were sealed and foamed, he called the difference, in his words, a whole different room. That is not a lab number. That is a man who stopped wearing a coat in his own house. Everything we are doing down here in the cold, this channel does for the summer side of the same house. The attic that bakes, the windows that cook the living room, the fan that cools a house at night for pennies. All of it lives in one book, The Passive Cooling Vault. 68 pages, every method with its real cost, its honest savings, and the climate where it loses. $57 once at oldwaysrestored.com, and if it is not useful to your house, reply to any email and we refund it without argument. You keep the book. Now, the fire rule. Because here is the thing about foam. It burns. Rigid foam board and spray foam are plastic, and plastic burns fast and smokes black. So the building code has a rule about leaving it exposed, and the rim joist is one of the few places in a house where you are allowed to. The International Residential Code lets you leave foam uncovered at the rim joist as long as it is no thicker than 3¼ inches. Thicker than that, and it has to be covered with drywall or an approved barrier. And here is the detail almost nobody says out loud. That exception was written for spray foam. Whether it covers rigid foam board is a matter of how your local inspector reads it, and inspectors read it differently. Most homeowners never get an inspection on a basement air seal, and rigid board at the rim joist is one of the most common DIY jobs in America. But if you are selling the house or finishing the basement, or you just want to sleep well, one layer under 3 inches, and a phone call to your building department is cheap insurance. And one more thing from Jeff's own footage. The 2-part spray kits carry a warning right on the box. Never spray thicker than 2 inches in one pass and let it cool between layers, because the chemical reaction gets hot enough to scorch. He reads it on camera. Read yours. And because on this channel we always tell you where a fix loses. If your house sits on a slab, there is no rim joist to get to, and this video is not your fix, though the chimney effect still is, and the leaks are around your doors and your attic instead. If your basement is already finished, the rim is behind drywall, and this becomes a bigger job. If the wood up there is soft, dark, or wet, do not seal it. Jeff has a whole separate video, 500,000 views, on cutting rotten rim joists out and replacing them, and foam over rot just hides the problem until the floor sags. Fix the water first. If the sill has termite damage, same rule. And if you have a gas water heater or furnace down there, tightening a house is generally good, but the appliance still needs its combustion air, and a home energy auditor can check that in 20 minutes. Nothing here works everywhere. This one just happens to work almost everywhere for almost nothing. So here is the whole thing on one shelf. Your house has a stripe of bare wood 1.5 inches thick running around the top of the foundation. It was left that way because in 1974 energy was cheap and the code did not care. It is the thinnest spot in the building and the intake for the chimney your house becomes every winter night. $100 of foam and cork closes the leak. $150 to $200 in board and foam closes it and insulates it. Keep it under 3¼ inches, keep it dry, and the government's own numbers say the leaks on that list are worth 15% of your heating and cooling bill. Go. Look tonight. Then tell me in the comments what year your house was built and what you found up there. Bare wood, old fiberglass, or already done. I read every one, and that count is going to tell all of us how big this really is. If you want the summer half of this house, that is the passive cooling vault, 68 pages, $57 once, at oldwaysrestored.com, refunded without argument if it does not earn its keep. And there is a free 2-minute test at the same site called the Fan Country Test that tells you whether your nights are dry enough to cool the house with a fan instead of the compressor. Link below. We have already shown you why your AC bill got so high, and the $30 fix 1950s houses new, and the $50 roof trick that keeps an attic 30 degrees cooler. Both of those are on your screen right now. The folks who built these houses were not careless. They just never had a reason to look. Now you do.